Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video, and I am here on my Dino a Day review series. We're getting towards the end, and we are on to the Titanosaur. Yes, this behemoth creature that I am currently standing on top of. It's probably one of the most frustrating tames in the game, for many reasons. One, they're stupid high health. They have health that's almost a joke. It really is. They deal just an insane amount of damage. Even a level 1, I think they only spawn in through 1 through 5. I usually play a lot less unofficial at this point in time, but nonetheless, they are just insane. I mean, look at this. A level 1, 334,000. That's a lot of health. They are also capable of so many different things. You can build just gigantic structures on them. You can place tech structure on them. They can destroy metal. They can soak bullets. You get the point. I'm going down this list of like hilariousness. So let's go ahead and kind of test out what they're capable of. So I've got some metal structure. It's kind of hard to see. You can see it there. And I just wanted to show you. So when I step on that metal structure, per stomp, I'm doing 1,000 damage, and he can stomp, give or take, once a second. So that means, give or take, in about 15 seconds, you can bring down somebody's foundations or metal walls. Now, that's insane. Because it doesn't matter what you have, you're going to cruise through pretty much everything you saw. I mean, what was that? Yeah, that's already gone. So the Titanosaur is the ultimate raid attack weapon. It can be a great anti-fob weapon as well, because if someone's got a fob, they probably don't have that many turrets. So as long as you're protected as the rider, you can kind of just sprint at somebody's face with a Titanosaur and just obliterate it by stomping on it. Now, you're seeing the issue with that right now, however. The Titanosaur is kind of like an all-in kind of creature, because if you are planning on speed with this guy, yeah, you're mistaken. There's no such thing as speedy Titanosaur. He's pretty fast, all things considered, when he can sprint, because he does have stamina. But for the most part, the issue, he's huge, so he has a hard time getting stuck on literally anything. He can climb pretty much most mountains, as long as you're careful with how you drive around with this thing. He can get up quite a few structures, but it kind of depends on everything. I mean, what you're seeing right now is his biggest issue. You've kind of got to have a direct line of sight on something in order for it to be actually dangerous. So if you're in an open field like this, it's not that big of an issue. He'll kind of just like walk around and you'll be able to do it. Now, the one thing you want to watch out for is the Titanosaur has a timer. Now, a lot of people forget this when they initially tame it. You have a timer when the second you knock it out, the timer begins. Now, you don't need any kibble, nothing like that. You just place a saddle on him to tame him. In order to tame him, you got to hit him in the head with cannonballs. Now, all things considered, it's not that difficult. It really isn't. Titanosaurs are pretty easy to tame. They have a very high health pool. However, they're not super useful because you can tame a bunch of turtles and have more health overall and take less damage. But point is simple, the Titanosaur is a very dangerous weapon. Now, obviously, as you can see, there's not much that stands in the way. There's a Rex down there just to give you a comparison of how big this thing is. When you stomp on it, you do a very large amount of damage. As you can see, you can use this thing in the King Alpha fight. I don't remember what other bosses. I think it's just the ones that you just happen to be in. So any of the Titan fights, but I don't think he'll teleport because of his weight to any other boss. But still pretty cool to be able to use this thing in general. Now, obviously, it's got its purposes, and you have to be very careful about how you use it because it doesn't have the ability to turn. So let's say somebody with their gigas come up on you. You have a pretty good chance against them, actually. Just because this thing will soak for the rest of forever, and you can just deal a load of damage by just stomping on them. But that's not where this thing is really impressive. Where it gets really impressive is this entire structure can be built on. Now, if you're really clever and careful with it, you can actually place structure so you cannot take damage. And I know that's not a joke. It's still doable. You just have to be very careful with how you do it, but it's doable. And you basically just build a line in the front. And like you see right here, he's got like a nice little platform started. Now what you're going to do then is you're going to place a 1 out ceiling, and then come on, you're just going to go down with walls. You can do whatever you want with these walls. I usually I mean, go down quite a bit because I mean, obviously the less you get shot, the better off you are. And because his body doesn't count as a blocking structure, you can usually build right on through it. There are some glitches that I've run into where you can't build through the body, but as you can see, you can just put up a giant wall, and that's kind of still overpowered because you're basically just making it cheating, literally. By the way, this is against COC, so keep that in mind. But you're building a giant way to be able to avoid being shot. Now, not only that, but because these turrets are just sitting there trying to shoot you, they're wasting ammo. There's lots of different ways to do this, and if you get it well, I guess if you get it perfect, it'll not try and shoot you, and it'll just exist. Like, you're just going to be golden. As you can see, you can go right on through, and you can just charge a wall. This might only be something in unofficial now. Someone will have to correct me on that. I don't remember the exact one, if they got rid of this unofficial or not. But I know a lot of people still use this on unofficial servers because, I mean, you can go the entire way down, and you've got a giant blocking wall for anything. And now this is where it's scary, because with this blocking wall, you can pretty much fit anything under a Titanosaur, whether it's like a bunch of dudes on Rexes with tech saddles, whatever you want to call it. They can just sit underneath the Titanosaur as you get closer and closer and shred the entire base. Now, obviously this is a problem because it's unfair, but, you know, there's a lot of different things in Ark for defensive purposes that are unfair as well. So you can see, as long as you get that middle section taken care of, a giant wall. The Titanosaur is like the ultimate okay, Alpha Raptor, knock it off, dude. Thank you. This thing is just a murderer of souls. You can see that. So what you do is you basically get that wall. It blocks the bullets. You block for whatever is underneath you, and you walk right up to somebody's wall. You can probably walk up a good army of people too. Drop down some C4, and boom, you're inside somebody's base. Obviously, he will take a lot of damage from turrets, so be careful about that. That's something you want to watch out for. The Titanosaur is a really great creature for that reason. Now, what else? Now, the Titanosaur, a lot of people forget about this. There's tons of structure you can actually place on the Titanosaur's back. Yes, you can place a tech replicator. That's not a joke. That is a real thing. You can place a tech generator. That is a real thing. Now, this is not obviously not the one you want because this is a S+ one, but you can place S+ shield generators on this thing's back. You cannot place some of the raw, regular tech items, but there are most of them you're able to do so. Like a tech transmitter, can't do it. That would be so OP. You can place down a smithy fabricator, just like you see here. I'm pretty sure you can place down an S+. No, you can't. Okay. So you can place down a large portion of things. You can even place down a shield generator. Now you can obviously imagine how overpowered that would be because, yeah, that's just not okay. Let's make some element real quick. Do I want unstable element? I guess I can just do that. And then we'll craft it up here in a second. But basically, if you were to imagine it and you put some element inside of this thing, you're going to have a moving, wall blocking, almost invincible because it's got so much health, with a shield around a dinosaur. Now, if you haven't figured that out yet, that's a little bit overpowered. So that's something that, well, you know, is not okay. You can also do a bunch of different styles with this thing. A lot of people think that you can only do basic attacks with them. You can only do flat land attacks. That's not necessarily true. This is also a great technique for being able to put up a bunch of cannons up above somebody's base. So for example, if they've got a base somewhere you cannot get, it's very easy to just place down yourself a bunch of different styles. I'm just going to use foundations to prove my point here. But you can go up really high with the towers on this thing, and you can actually build yourself a sniper tower, you can build yourself a cannon tower, and you can do pretty much anything you want. So as you can see, I'm at what, 10 up, 15 up? Yeah, ish. So anyways, basically up this high, you can have a nice little sniper's tower down on things. You can have anything you need. You can put a Carcanos up here, and said Carcanos could probably launch turtles over somebody's bases. There's a bunch of different things that people forget about use-wise of the Titanosaur. I mean, first off, that's pretty cool. But I mean, being able to demolish any sort of metal foundation is pretty crazy. So I'm going to show you what this looks like in a second here. But being able to place all this stuff up here, I mean, you can place a tech repi and power it up here. That's not too shabby. That being said, there's a lot of different things you can do. It's basically a mobile base. It could be a great fob. Obviously, you want to be careful because if someone kills it, this all falls down, and that really, really, really sucks. You don't want to have that happen. But nonetheless, pretty good mobile fob. Now, expelling fobs, it's also quite powerful. Can I have this element, please? It's at 0 seconds, game. Please. There it goes. Just to show you, you can actually power this thing up on this. Yeah, nice, right? You can power this as well. Please work. There it goes. Let's go ahead and change the shield radius to maximum. And not too shabby. That, my friends, is a 100% protected Titanosaur. Yeah. This is on unofficials, though. I don't think you can do this on. You might be able to still do it on officials. People used to do it, and they had to get rid of it. But, yeah, this is pretty overpowered, in case you haven't figured that out yet. There's lots of things that you can do with a Titanosaur that are pretty just, you know, insane things that do so much damage. Obviously, they have the 24-hour countdown, which makes them a little less powerful, but still, it's pretty cool that they're able to do so many unique things. People just need to come up with some different ways. Now, obviously, you can see, you walk at somebody's base with the shield generator, the Titan, and the wall, you could just hide under here and just feel comfortable. Bring a couple Deinonychus, so if anyone comes close, you just shred them. It's not too shabby. So anyways, the Titanosaur, this is like the kingmaker of the game, the destroyer of worlds, the death machine. So anyways, hopefully this helps you out, and teach out.